Hey guys, it's Dana, and I am here with the awesomely fantastic Jenny Blake, author of Life After College, this fantastically awesome blog online. And she took all of that she was working with online and turned it into a book, Life After College, the complete guide to getting what you want, which I think sounds really awesome because who doesn't want to get what they want, right? So you can get this book on Amazon. You can get it in bookstores. She's been touring around the country doing book signings and all kinds of great stuff. Welcome, Jenny Blake. Thank you for joining me.
Yay, thanks so much for having me.
So you just did a big talk in front of like 500 people.
Yes.
And where was it? What was it for?
I was speaking at TEDx CMU in Pittsburgh, so that was at Carnegie Mellon, and I was the opening speaker, which was nerve-wracking and exciting.
And how'd it go?
Well, it was really interesting. One of my worst fears was realized I had to deliver my speech from memory because as the technicians were trying to fix the slides, on my monitor in front of me, all I saw were browser windows moving around. And that was on one of the monitors, and on the other monitor was a countdown clock. So it was really nerve-wracking and a test of grace under pressure because I, thank goodness, had my speech memorized, but was not expecting to not be able to see my slides and not have the audience be able to see them, and then to have this kind of distracting monitor situation. Thankfully, having all those technical glitches gave me a lot of jokes that I could make throughout, and it ended up being fine. People really liked it, and it felt, I would say, even better than just delivering a good speech. It felt great because I had recovered from what I had thought before would be like a big, huge, giant fear of just falling flat on my face in front of this many people.
Have you spoken before?
Yes. I've done training and development for smaller groups for a long time through Google, and more speaking on behalf of myself has been a newer thing that I've started in the last year, but I've never done a group that was this big. It was 500 people in the room and then streaming to 2,000.
Was that, yeah, are you, how does that feel to have that under your belt now?
So great. It felt so exhilarating, and hearing from people afterward about that's exactly what they needed to hear and that it made such a difference. It means everything to me and totally reinforces why I love what I'm doing, and it's kind of addicting. Like, I want to do more of it.
Nice. Is that adrenaline rush?
Yeah, totally.
So much fun.
To reach that many people at one time is really fun, and that's why I love blogging, and that's a huge part of the reason I wrote the book is I wanted to reach different audiences, and so speaking is a really fun way to do that.
So why did you write this book, aside from to get across to a bunch of people?
I wrote it because I'm a big resource gopher, and when I graduated from school and I actually took a leave of absence to help start a company, I felt really lost, and so I started reading every book under the sun that I could find on time management, leadership, organization, health and fitness. I've read probably 200 personal development books. And so I wanted to write this book as a way to synthesize and share both what I learned from the books and what I thought was missing. And that's why it ended up being, there's a chapter for every area of someone's life, and then tips, quotes, and coaching exercises. Because I really wanted to put the power in the reader's hands to say, I can say, oh yeah, I'm an expert, but that's not really the point. And the reason it's called The Complete Guide to Getting What You Want, which is kind of like a, super audacious self-help title that I love. It's because if you truly sit down and do the exercises, that's how you articulate what you want. And that is everything. Once you know what it is, it's so much easier to go after it.
Very true. And what's really nice about your book is the way that it's formatted and it's easy to read. It's not going to be like one of those things. I mean, you have a lot of stuff that you pack into here. Was it hard to edit that stuff down?
It was. The first draft that I turned in to my publisher was 450 pages, and they were like, you got to cut this down. They didn't have any feedback, really. I mean, minor things here and there, other than this needs to be 300 pages or fewer. So I I took out a lot of, there used to be a lot more advice from college graduates and a lot more 2 cents from Twitter. So I ended up paring those sections down so that they didn't overwhelm the reader.
Then were you able to use that edited information in other places? Did you put it on your blog or did you tweet about it, anything like that?
It's a great question. I haven't done anything with it yet. And I debate whether people would care or not, like whether it would be a valuable, probably be 100 pages, valuable set of things. So TBD, I still have it sitting in my computer.
So you're a 20-something yourself, and this book is for 20-somethings. Did you find that was difficult, kind of talking to this, you're giving advice to people who are just like you?
Yeah, right. That was a huge reason I was scared to even write the book, because I felt like I had this inner critic voice that was simultaneously saying, you're too young and you're too old. Like, on the one hand, I was too young to be able to write a book that was going to help people. And on the other, I was too old. Like, now I'm 27 and I thought, oh, I'll be too far from my target market, college graduates. The way that I express this in the book is by saying, these are my ideas of what I've learned to date. I could write this book for the rest of my life and continue learning lessons, and I definitely will. So I'm sure that in 5 years from now, I'll look back and think, oh God, I was missing so many important things that I've since learned. But as my dad said to me, the book in its exact form is going to be helpful for people now. And I felt like even if I'm relatively young, I've done so much reading and so much, I'm such an observer of my own life that I was able to kind of pull out what I think are valuable lessons for people at any age.
So you also life coach as well. What kind of clients do you work with and how do you coach them?
I love to work with really people of all ages, but particularly 20-somethings. I find people in their mid-20s who they've been working a couple years. Now they have some big ideas or a big goal they want to pursue, and they don't quite know how to go about it. And those are my favorite clients to work with, like getting some big, hairy, scary goal, saying it out loud, and building a really practical plan to get there. So the way that I coach is really through asking a lot of questions. I really help clients create a vision for what they want, similar to the book. Create a vision, then we remove any obstacles or barriers and talk through those and create a practical action plan to get there. I kind of compare this to, you have a doctor that you go to when you're sick and a personal trainer that you go to when you just want to accelerate your progress or maximize your health and fitness. And that's how I see coaching. It's not because anything's wrong with the person. Oftentimes it's high achieving, really motivated people. It's that they really want to accelerate and maximize what they're doing.
What's the best part of coaching and working with other people?
It is so rewarding just to play even a small part in helping someone do something huge that's life-changing. And I know that because I've been on the receiving end many times where I've had so many coaches who, through one piece of homework that they assigned, changed my life, or one book that they told me to read. Or I once had a coach who said, hey, you might like to check out this coach training program. And that has completely snowballed and changed my life. And it's such a gift to be able to work with people on their deepest hopes and dreams. It's so meaningful to me.
Now, I love the term, you said your big, hairy, scary goal.
Yeah.
And that was really the book for you, right? Your big, hairy, scary goal was doing this book, and you did it, and you accomplished it. And what's the best part of being done with this book and doing this book tour and going out and having all this success?
The best part is that this book has lived in my computer for 2.5 years. So seeing it in my hands, seeing it in my friends and family's hands, like a physical representation of the big, scary, hairy goal. And then things like at TEDx, one of the student organizers of the event said, Jenny, I have my values written on Post-its, and I stuck them to my wall, and I'm rearranging them and figuring out what my top 5 are. And that made my day to know that not only is the book real, but the exercises are helping people and they're doing them and they are truly bringing the book to life. And that is an amazing feeling.
You also did something kind of crazy to, your average Joe kind of person. You work for Google, and anyone would be thrilled to work for Google. And you went and you took a sabbatical from Google to go and do this book tour. Was that kind of a scary jump for you?
Not really. I've been at Google for 5 years, and I've been doing the Google and the book and the blog overlapping for the last 3 years. So it wasn't scary so much as like, if I don't take a break, something's going to kill me. One of these things is I'm going to get so overloaded, I will not be able to do it all. So it kind of felt like a really natural evolution. Like I've been at Google twice as long as I was in undergraduate. So it's nice actually to have this 3 months to be able to promote the book and just rest and relax and have fun. Those are things that I certainly tried to do the last 3 years, but it's hard when I was kind of working so intensely on these projects. So it's been nice to have that time. And I also knew that it would not be fair to Google or to the book to try and do both at the same time when it came to promotion, that I knew I really wanted to be available to travel on a dime and say yes to interviews and do things like that where I would have really been compromising both. And I was not about to let this project that I'd worked on for so long just fizzle because I didn't have the full time to dedicate to it.
And now you do, and you're doing this whirlwind book tour. Where all are you going to be?
It's a 14-city self-funded book tour. The publisher doesn't really plan these. They help with with bookstores and traditional media. So I'm just mostly going where I have big pockets of friends and readers and places that I want to go, and places where I have existing conferences. So Austin, Texas, going to New York coming up soon, New York, Portland, Maine, and Boston. Then I go to this conference, Bloggers in Sin City in Las Vegas. I go up to Seattle and then Portland, Oregon for Chris Guillebeau's World Domination Summit, and then back to New York. So I'm kind of just bouncing around, but it's been a ton of fun so far.
Awesome. What has been the most exciting part of it thus far?
To date, I would say 2 things. I had a book launch party in Austin, and my friend Betty Jean Bell found a cupcake sponsor, which is so fun to me. It's been a blast celebrating with friends and family, and similarly, it's been so great meeting other young entrepreneurial-minded bloggers, and like these people that I've met at these conferences are just amazing and inspiring, and they've really motivated me to up my game and just keep going and to do big things and change the world.
And what would you tell anyone who's out there looking to change the world themselves?
My motto is live big, and I've since tacked on to it, live big and start small. Go for your big dreams, have your big ideas, and don't feel like you have to bite the whole thing off at once. Start small, look at what's one thing I can do to start making some progress on this goal and do it.
Jenny, thank you so much for joining me. Again, Life After College, the complete guide to getting what you want. You can find it bookstores everywhere, Amazon. It's getting awesome reviews on Amazon. There is not a single negative word being spoken about this book and this girl. She knows what she's talking about. Check it out and enjoy it and live it. Hey, live big, right? Live big.
You got it. Thanks, Dayna.